think we're all going to agree that life is way more than just about money. Most of us are working on something much greater than just being able to make money. Most of us want to be able to create a greater impact in our lives and lives of those around us, whether that's family, friends, or total strangers, because we all have knowledge and experience and expertise in something that other people know. That is what vast majority of us want to create. And if you are one of those people who want to create that, you likely are going to be starting and looking at different marketing techniques, different components of what you need to do in order to create that impact that you are desiring. But here is the truth about the whole thing. Whether you like to admit it or not, whether this is going to be for profit or not, and it's just a pure sort of out of my heart coming to other people, or out of my heart with a little bit of money coming to other people, you are in effect starting a business. And business does take a lot of, you guessed it, money. It is going to require a whole lot of money to get into your impactful business. And I believe that every business does need to be impactful. You need to create something of value that other people can benefit from. Otherwise, what are you in business for? If you're just there to make money, who cares? You will very quickly discover that that is not the thing that moves you, especially when you get to the place where you're making money. You'll also discover that if the only thing that you are getting into the business is to make money, people simply won't join you. You know, there's a whole concept of people going in and talking about build it and they will come. Well, what happens if they don't show up? Because that was the story that I had for years. I started many different businesses, and guess what? Nobody showed up. I built it, I did stuff, I thought about it, but in order to get people to show up to your business, you're going to actually have to do something about it. And that, in our world today, is called marketing. Yes, you're going to have to do a lot of marketing, which takes a lot of time, effort, energy, and money. Now, here is how things kind of have to work. Let's say you have an idea, right? There's a brilliant little thing that you want to create. That's you dreaming about this whole thing where you're able to impact the world and make it a better place just because you were here. And yes, you can absolutely do that. And yes, you should absolutely do that, because there's nothing more fulfilling than when we're doing things and working on things that actually make us feel great and are helping other people. But here's the thing that you're going to be creating. You're going to be creating a thing called business. Now, whether that is for profit or not for profit, it doesn't really matter. There's one thing that is what I call a lifeblood of business, and that is money. You're going to need money in order to be able to build that impactful business, to become that influencer. Now, that money will come in whether you will need time to create all of the content and post it out there, interact with people. But to have time, you actually have to have funds coming in to support you to have time. That means that your living expenses have to be covered. Things like food, housing, transportation, healthcare, and a host of other things that we all have to have in order to be able to live, thrive, and survive in today's environment. Now, if you're looking at creating the impactful business and you want to be an influencer like a YouTuber or an Instagrammer or something like that, or you're using just social media to get people to hear your message so that you can help them fix whatever it is that your strength is, that's awesome. But now you're going to need some supplies. You're going to need video cameras, lighting, maybe a whiteboard, maybe some sort of backdrop. Maybe you need to travel to locations. I don't know what kind of business you're in. That all costs money. And you're thinking to yourself, well, I'm just going to use my cell phone. Awesome. That too costs money. Now, if you don't have a whole lot of time and now you have all of the supplies, you might need to hire people to help you. That too takes money, because those people, while they want to help you and they are eager to do the work, they're going to need to support their families, and so they will require funding from you. Now, when you hire somebody, you are in effect responsible for that individual and their family being able to do well. The end goal, the end thing that is happening is money. Now, I'm going to tell you a bit of a story before I go into the money, kind of how we fix all of that stuff. Way back when, I decided that I was going to go and become a first responder. I've been working in non-for-profit, and I still do work as a first responder, where I go out and I respond in to horrible things that happen in life, to people, to buildings, to things. One of the things that I have been taught years ago, and is the thing that now I teach my team of how to do stuff, is you got to protect yourself first. You got to make sure that you are safe when you go out and respond to something, so that you indeed can help somebody. Let's sort of think through that. Let's say a firefighter. Right? Before they go into that burning building to go out and seek for lives, they don't just run in wearing something that I'm wearing right now. They will put on protective clothing. They will put on the gas masks, right? When I say gas mask, I'm meaning like oxygen masks. They will put on the helmet. They will protect their bodies, so that when they go in, that they are protected, that they are able to go out and help other people. If they just run in wearing the stuff that I'm wearing, which is a plain shirt, they're going to harm themselves, which means they're never going to be able to help anybody else. Same thing kind of happens when we fly a plane. Maybe that is something that you can relate to, right? You're sitting on a plane and they say, please pay attention to the flight attendant that is going to give you instructions for safe flight. Now, they don't do that to scare us. Nobody wants to scare you from flying, because that's how they make money. But then you have a flight attendant explains how to buckle your seat and where the exits are, right? They kind of do the whole pointing thing, and I can't do that. I wish I could. But then they tell us that if oxygen drops, there will be masks coming down, and the first thing to do is put oxygen mask on our face and then assist others around us. That is the same concept here that I want to teach, is that you want to build a business to create a great impact for the world, but for that, you're going to need money. And if you haven't figured out money for your own life, meaning how are you going to support yourself in building this business, again, whether it's for-profit or not-for-profit, it's irrelevant. The only thing that changes from profit to non-profit is that on for-profit, profit is the primary goal. In a non-profit, profitability is still very, very important. However, the primary goal is the mission. That's it. That's the only thing. Look, vast majority of businesses fail. We all know the statistics that well over 50% of the businesses will fail over the course of just a few months. 90% fail over the course of a year. Within 5 years, they're sort of decimated. 10 years, like good luck. If you are looking to create a bigger impact for people, you have to figure out your money. Because vast majority of those businesses that fail don't fail because it was a bad business, or because it was a bad idea, or because whatever the founder or the person behind it wanted to impact on the world and on other people was bad or flawed in any way. Sometimes, sure, that is the case. But vast majority of the cases, that is not what's happening. The problem that ends up happening for vast majority of businesses is lack of funds. That is why they go out of business, because they no longer can fund it. Now, here's the thing. When you build a business, right, you have to go out and tell people about it. You have to push a lot of content out there. Whether you do that yourself, you hire people to do it, that's going to require time, effort, energy, money. Then, if you're thinking of that is the only thing that you can do, that organic sort of feed into it, yes, organic is awesome and it helps and you should do it. I agree with that. But you're also going to have to do some ads. Ads cost money, a lot of money. And while no, you don't need to put a whole lot of money, and yes, the cost of those ads has decreased over the decades, and where we are right now in 2020, it's way much cheaper to do this stuff than it was back in 1999 or 1950s even, right? It's much, much cheaper. However, it still does cost money, because every time you put on an ad, okay, right, you're going to need to test it, because you don't know if people are going to respond to it and like it, or if they're going to respond and not like it or not respond at all. That means that you have to go out, change the ad, run a different one, and that is going to require a lot of testing. Well, guess what? All of that testing costs money. All of the content costs money, one way or the other. I hate to admit it, but our life and our society is all around money and how we create those things in our lives. And that is what I want to help you with. This is you, and you have a great, big, amazing dream. And I want you to live your dream. But to live your dream, you're going to need to have money and funds to support you in what you're looking to create. And that is what I am trying to do here. That is what I do for my clients, for my students, for my friends, family, and those that surround me. I have plenty of free channels where you can go out, watch videos just like this, and you might be on one of those channels right now, so just simply subscribe. Be able to learn how to fix your own money. I have books, most of them I gift absolutely free, so go out and sign up for those things. Join the Facebook groups that I am running, where I'm sharing almost daily videos about different things of how things are going to help people with their money. I also have courses that you can sign up, so there's paid courses, challenges, and different things that are going to help you figure out your money. And again, it's not about money, y'all. It is about impact. You know, I watched many different surveys and videos, attended a lot of live events, and every time they do a question of how many of you would like at the end of the life to have made as much money as you possibly could. And of course, always a few hands go up. And then the second question comes in and says, how many of you would have liked to create the greatest impact in the world, so when you pass and when you leave this world, the world is better because you were here for it? And nearly every hand goes up. That tells me that many people out there want to create these businesses to help other people. But to be able to do that, yes, you have to figure out marketing. Yes, you have to figure out what your message is. Yes, you have to figure out your equipment of how you're going to record it, how you're going to get that message out. Yes, you have to deliver on your promises. Yes, you have to do all kinds of stuff and have experience. But for all of that and all of those courses and all of that delivery and all of those ads and all of that impact, you need one thing, and that is money. So you got to take care of your money first, your wealth first, so that you can go out and teach other people. You might have passion about health and it has nothing to do with money whatsoever, because maybe you are in fitness industry and you're teaching people how to have great bodies, how to live healthy lives. Maybe you're in nutrition. Maybe you are a brainiac. And when I say brainiac, maybe you are super smart. Really, truly, you are. I'm sure of it. But maybe you are the person that helps people kind of how to connect and improve their brain and their thinking. Maybe you are a yogi and you're trying to take people from their sort of messed up, busy mindset into this blissful thing of meditation. All of those things cost money, y'all. I have been investing in many different assets for over 20 years. I've lost a lot of money. I've made a lot of money. I've learned a whole lot of things. I've built a lot of businesses. Some are actual physical businesses you can walk into, or at least they were. Some are very much online businesses. And one thing I have learned in over 20 years of doing this stuff, helping myself, helping my family, helping thousands, hundreds of thousands of students out there, it all comes down to one thing, and that is money. And I know that for some of you that's an icky subject and it's uncomfortable and you don't like it. But if you cannot sustain that business, money is sort of like a fire, right? And it burns. And if you run out of fuel to put on that fire eventually sort of fizzles out, then it just sort of embers, and eventually it dies. That's the same thing that kind of happens to the businesses. You have to have a constant fuel, meaning money, to throw at it, throw at it, throw at it, throw at it. And I know that there's a lot of people out there that they're talking about this laptop lifestyle. I am sitting on the beach, enjoying my cocktail, thank you very much, and I am making money and the business is running great. Well, guess what, y'all? Yes, it's likely true for that person, but I will tell you one thing is for certain. That is not how it started. They had to go out and hustle hard, a lot. And they did have a laptop lifestyle, meaning they sat behind the laptop a lot, and they didn't have any lifestyle whatsoever for a very long time. For some of the businesses, they can kind of scale up. If you really know what you're doing, if you're really connected, it could take a few months, maybe a year. For vast majority of us, it is going to take 5, 10, 15, 20 years to get there. And that is a reality of what's happening in the world. And I'm not saying that because I want to discourage you. I'm not saying that because I'm trying to sell you on something. I am saying that because it is the truth. And if you were to ask anybody who is successful in business today of what their life was like, how they got into it and how they started, and you start really learning, you will discover that none of them decided on a Monday they're going to start business and by Friday they were retired. It didn't happen for any one of them. Take Jeff Bezos, for example, right? The Amazon guy. Well, guess what? It started as a book sales thing that he wanted to do online, and he personally was packaging every single book on the floor of his apartment, and he slowly grew and he slowly grew and he slowly grew. And of course, by now I'm sure he has a wonderful lifestyle that it might not even be a laptop lifestyle. It might be like a cell phone lifestyle where it's a few phone calls and it's done. I don't know. I am not hanging out with the guy all the time, right? Or ever. Actually, I've never met him. I don't know what he does. Let's go and take somebody else. Mark Zuckerberg, Facebook guy, right? He also didn't wake up one day and said, oh, it's Facebook, and have 2 billion people sign up. No, he started because he was a nerd, didn't know how to talk to the girls, figured out if I can figure out how to get the cute girls' photos on my computer screen and I can look at them, I'll be happy. I mean, that's how it started. Let's be honest, right? And then he hustled for many years. Now he's running this great business that is really big. You can like it, you can hate it, it doesn't really matter. But that's how he got there. It has been, I mean, what, Facebook started almost 20 years ago, roughly speaking, plus minus, whatever. Take anybody who has any business, and I promise you, I guarantee you, if it's a successful business and it's working really well over a period of time, meaning they didn't just go out there and get lucky for one time period, it took a lot of time, it took a lot of effort, it took a lot of energy, it took a lot of people, and all of that comes back to one thing only: money. It comes back to money. So you have to figure out the way how to become comfortable with the fact that your impact, your influence, or whatever it is that you're trying to create is going to take money. And you might have been discovering that if you have been trying to create the influencer movement for whatever it is that you believe in, you likely have discovered that already. You're signing up for all of these marketing courses, trying to figure out stuff. You're buying all of the equipment. You have to go out and get all of the different things. You are signing up for all the different accounts. You are hiring people to help you with stuff. You are answering phone calls. Like, all of that stuff takes a lot of energy, time, and money. And that is what I want to help you with. I want to help you get into assets that are producing income. One of my favorite assets, as I'm sure some of you already know, if you know me at all, is, let's see if you can guess. Yes, it's real estate. And I like real estate because I can go out, I can rent it out, right? And now I'm going to start getting in a little bit of passive income. And when I pay off my expenses, right, there's going to be me, and I'm going to be making some money, okay? And if I can go out and rinse and repeat this process, that passive income that I'm going to be getting is going to keep growing more and more and more, and I can keep growing this, and this could be my business. But if I am looking to create an impact, maybe I'm teaching folks, this can start running in the background. It's going to help you potentially reduce your taxes. It's going to help you create passive income so that you no longer have to go to a job to trade your time for it. So this is going to start coming in. It replaces your income, meaning it covers your living expenses. So now you can go out and focus on creating an impactful business. So basically what this whole video is about is helping you start thinking strategically about creating your map of, here you are, right? Wanting to create an impactful business and wanting to help as many people out there as possible. But to get to there, there's going to be some sort of thing and trajectory. Yes, and it goes all over the place because we like to think of a business that kind of happens this way of, right, this is me, point A, this is me, where I want to be point B, and boom, this is how it's going to happen. That's not reality. This is a reality. It's going to be all over the place. It's going to take time. It's going to go in a little bit forward, a little bit backwards. Sometimes you're going to feel like a total winner and amazing and awesome. Other times you're going to feel like a total failure because you tried something and it didn't work. And you're going to have to dust yourself off, pick yourself up, go back, have that mission in place and say, yes, I am doing this. Then you're going to have to step up and go back out there and do that. And for all of that, you're going to require a lot of energy and, again, money. But if I can start with the first step of sort of saying, this is where I want to go, this is what I want to create, and I can start learning of how to do that, and I can start creating a little bit of movement with putting some messages out and building some of the stuff, components with it. But if I can now focus on creating some sustainable income sources coming my way, just in case that this takes a bit longer than I thought, and just in case this is really what I want to focus on, let's do a little bit of this. It doesn't take a whole lot of time. Once you set it up, once you find it, once you buy it, it can actually run all by itself because you can hire people to be able to manage that for you. And it's a little bit different than hiring a virtual assistant or even an in-person assistant to be able to help you out with this stuff. Because if I was to rent this out, and let's say I hired Sue, who is a property manager, well, Sue is going to help me out because she's going to work with the tenant, help them out with all of the problems, fix the place, work with all of the other contractors that I might need to have in order to make this place run. She's going to take a portion of the money, if I set it up correctly, which you should, and then I am going to get whatever is left, which is going to be sort of like the remainder of the portion of what gets in. So how does this work? Let's say that I have a house and I rent it for, say, $1,000, right? Sue then, let's say, takes 10%. That means that I am left with $900, okay? Now, let's say also that I'm going to have some expenses because buying an asset is not free. I mean, I might not have to pay a commission on it. I might be able to save up on taxes. I might be able to pass on the utility expenses and that kind of stuff. But I'm going to have mortgage. I'm going to have taxes. I'm going to have insurance. I'm going to have some stuff to protect me. And let's say that all of that stuff costs $500. I don't know. I'm guessing here, okay? And that is $400. Look, it's $400 a month that shows up my way passively now. Now, $400 is not going to retire you. None of us are going to get rich on $400. Agreed? Okay. So what is going to happen is that $400 can now help us start paying towards some of those ads, can start paying towards some of that content, can start paying for some of the help that we need to hire to help us start pushing more stuff out there, to start feeding our dream of building an impactful business. That is going to help you with it. Now, this $400 could also potentially help you with your cell phone bill, or your cable bill, or your internet bill, or maybe buying some of the supplies like cameras and lights and that kind of stuff. So this is why I'm so passionate about it, because it's able to help you in all kinds of avenues. Now, here's another thing that a lot of people don't think about when they decide they're going to be an influencer or get into the influencer business. It's called taxes. Taxes are absolutely guaranteed. There's no way about going around it. You might be able to potentially reduce them. You might be able to get a little bit creative. But at the end of the day, that is a guarantee. You're going to have to pay it, or probably spend your lifetime in jail, or at least a few years, and lose everything. I don't know about you. While I do want to figure out how to live for free, I don't want that kind of free housing at all, or meals for that matter. So I want to stay on the legal side of things. Now, the cool part about real estate is that it helps us reduce our taxable income. It don't know what it's going to do for you, and it all depends on who you are. So I recommend working with an accountant to help you figure out your piece of it. But what I do know is that for vast majority, 99.99% of the people, owning real estate can help you reduce taxable income. Meaning, if you are running with it and structured correctly, and I recommend working with a CPA and working with an attorney to structure all of this stuff correctly, then this business, when it starts creating some money and building it, the taxable income from it is going to be less. I remember way back when, at this point, it's going to be what, like 15 years ago, roughly, something like that. I was making high 20s, low $30,000, and my taxable income was like close to $30,000, if you can believe it. 30,000. Sorry, I was making high 20, low $30,000, but my taxable income was in 30%. Nowadays, I am making way more than $30,000, many multiples of that, and my taxable income is actually in the teens, sometimes around 10, sometimes in single digits, mostly because of this real estate. That what it was helpful to do for me. Now, if I am able to go from, let's say, 30% tax bracket down to 10% tax bracket, that is 20% gain in my personal income that I can do whatever I want to, which means I enjoy a better lifestyle, meaning I can afford more things, including building an impactful business, hiring people to help me with marketing, with ads, with posting, with fielding phone calls, with customer service, with building platforms, with creating products, or whatever else you need to create to have an impactful business. And that is what I want you to create in your own life. Yes, this is awesome and amazing, and I want you to create an impactful life and impactful business to help as many people as possible. And yes, there's high opportunity that this can grow to be multi-million, even multi-billion dollar business. But to get there, you're going to have to go through a whole lot of stuff that most people don't talk about, because what they're selling you on your dream, they're selling you on what is possible, but very rarely do they talk about the hell, personal, financial, physical, emotional hell that they had to go through to get where they are today. So don't give up on your dream. Do have it. What I want you to do is start thinking strategically of how do you set up your money so that your personal hell is not all that hellish, right? You can go out and afford it. You don't have to get a second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth job just so that you can keep your dream alive and at some point potentially shut down when you start running out of funds, because it takes a while to scale the business and start turning it into, 2-figure, 3-figure, 5-figure, 6-figure, 7-figure, 10-figure income, and so on. That is where solid investing comes in, where you can take a portion of the money, put it aside. Then we go in and focus on how do you properly budget your money, how do you create all of the stuff to help you with the stuff, think through that stuff. I've done some of the videos on it. They're absolutely free. They're on the channel. So make sure you check it out and be able to start thinking bigger than just your dream. A lot of times we are very myopic of sort of, this is what I want, this is my lane, this is kind of how I go in. And yes, when it comes to niches and marketing and that kind of stuff, you need this, okay? But in life in general, you have to think big picture, understand what you want, and then start using stuff from the big picture that fills in the gaps to get you where you want to go. And that is where real estate is incredibly powerful and is going to help you a great deal. And if you don't want to go with real estate, fine. Go with paper assets. I'm not a big fan because, they're playing yo-yo with our money. I don't personally like that. But if you decide to do that, make sure that it at least provides passive income streams for you and that it has high rate of return and low risk. I don't know what you're going to be able to find out when you decide to do that, which is why I prefer this guy over here. Because I can control it, I can understand it, it's slow moving, and you know what? It's been reliable for centuries for many people out there, and it's still reliable today for millions of people out there. So I recommend you go out and figure this first while you're working on this component. Until next time, stay forever money blessed, and do remember, you are only one deal away.